So if you're watching this video, that means that I have successfully completed what I'm going to be talking about today. So that's good. Okay, so how do you make your ideas a reality through VFX? So the cool thing about VFX is that the limit is your imagination. Today we have endless amount of technology and tools that we can use in our advantage to be able to make this a reality. So in this video, I'm actually going to be talking about my entire process of how I come up with the idea, film the idea, and then edit the idea from start to finish. And of course, the very first step that we have to start with is figuring out the what. So obviously the what is important to know so that you know what you're going to be filming. So for me, random ideas pop in my head throughout the day. And if it's a good one, what I'll do is I'll write it down on my notes so that I can come back to it later. That way, when I do come back to the idea, I can workshop it and see how I can either make it better or just completely scratch the idea because it just may have been a bad idea in the first place. So yeah, the first thing you need to do is figure out the what. What is the video going to be? What is the actual edits going to look like? Once you have that, write it down so that you can come back to it later and find ways of how you can possibly improve it. Okay, so at the time of filming this video, the new Super Mario Bros. Movie is going to be coming out in a few days. And I grew up playing Nintendo, so I'm a huge Mario Bros. Fan. So because of that, I want to make a video related to Mario Bros. And I thought it would be cool to do some sort of point of view perspective video of me / Mario having the fireball in his hand and throwing it around. That is my what. It is a POV shot of Mario throwing fireballs. So I thought it would be cool that because it's point of view, we see one of the item boxes. Once I hit the box, once I hit the box, a flower comes out. I grab it and then I become fire. And then I just lose control and then eventually I lose that life. At the end of the video will be like when you lose a life in Mario Bros. Where the number goes down and you restart the level. I'm also sick during the filming of this video. Okay, so once you have your what, the next thing that you're going to need to figure out is the how. Now the how is going to be a tricky section because you have to figure out how you're going to film it, and not only that, but how you're going to edit it. For the final product to be exactly what you want, you have to film it in a specific way to be able to be edited. So one of the first things that I like to do once I write it down, I like to break down what I want the final video to look like. So in my case, there's going to be a point of view shot again, there's going to be a block in the air, and then fire powers. So for a point of view shot, I'm going to need a wide angle lens. I think the best option that I can do is going to be using my phone. I can use the 0.5 mode, and so that's pretty wide and it should be pretty easy to hold. There's also going to be a 3D block in the air, so the scene is going to have some sort of 3D tracking going on. Now, I use Adobe After Effects for all of my editing and has a very advanced tracking system, but you always have to film it in a specific way, meaning that the camera footage has to be decently stable so that the computer knows how to track it. Normally when working with fire as a visual effects element, you want to have some sort of practical lighting. But I'm planning on shooting it outside, in which fire doesn't affect the environment as much because it's already super bright outside. So I'm not going to be using any kind of practical lighting except for the sun. Okay, so filming was actually pretty interesting. I ended up making like 4 to 5 different takes, basically doing the same thing. When filming alone, especially with filming something for VFX, something that you want to do is make as many shots as you can, because it's actually pretty rare that your first take is the one that you're going to be using, because the ones after that just work better. So if there's a tip that I could give you is to make sure that you film multiple takes just to make sure that when you're editing, everything goes nice and smooth. So yeah, once I had my footage, I brought it into After Effects, and the first thing I did was to 3D track the scene. But once it's tracked, you want to grab a place where you want the box to be, and add a null layer so that you can use it as reference. I am using Element 3D instead of After Effects. This is a plugin by Video Copilot. I use it for a lot of my 3D stuff, so I don't have to go into Blender or anything like that. And the same process was pretty much used for the sunflower afterwards. For the actual fireball, I made this little asset, combining a lot of different elements together to make it look like one good fireball. And I think the final result is pretty cool. Well, okay, so it's starting to get dark outside, which means that my time is ending because right now my spotlight is the window, and then if there's no light outside, then there's no light inside. But I really hope that you enjoyed watching my process from beginning to end and possibly learned something. If you have any questions or thoughts, please leave it down in the comment section below and let me know what kind of videos you would want to watch. And if there's a specific effect that you've seen me do that you want a tutorial on, just let me know. Anyways, yep, that's the end of the video. Okay, bye.